very quickly, for people watching this show, what precautions do they need to take? What should they worry about? Is this a milder version of the virus from what you've seen so far? This new strain that we are talking about, although it appears to be more contagious with 70% more it's apparently 70% more transmissible. But what's your overall take so far? What should people worry about?
Thank you so much for having me on your show. Just quickly to explain what we're dealing with. If you look at this part of the coronavirus, it's called its spike protein or S protein. And this new variant in the UK has a series of mutations and deletions, which has resulted in the change of the structure of this spike protein. This spike protein does two really important things. The first is it determines how infectious the virus is, how easily it can infect cells in the human body. The second important thing about it is our immune response, our antibodies, our immunity is directed against this spike protein. So therefore, a change in the spike protein could make the virus more infectious, and it could have some bearing on our immune response, either in who've been infected before or in vaccines. Like you've pointed out, it's really, we're early in this discovery, so we don't know a lot of things conclusively. What we do know is it seems more infectious. That means all the precautions that we have already been taking, we need to double down on them. So the good news is that masks still work just as well. Distancing works just as well. Hand hygiene works just as well. Disinfection works just as well. So ventilation and clean air work just as well. So we need to double down on all those things. Of course, we have to also double down on isolation, quarantine. We need to test more, all of those things. The other important thing that I guess a lot of people are worried about is can you get this again? Can there be reinfections? So it's too early. There have been 4 documented reinfections with this variant, but basically people who've recovered from COVID-19 should continue to take all the precautions anyone else would take. So essentially the things we need to do are just do everything we should have already been doing and be more careful. Some people may have gotten used to a different risk perception. They may feel, okay, maybe I can go out and meet my friends once a week. So now you need to reassess all of that. We need to behave like we are dealing with a novel pathogen that we don't completely understand. And we need to take all the precautions until we do understand it properly.
Right. One final question before I let you go, Dr. Parikh. In fact, thank you so much for putting all that so well into perspective that, you have to continue doing what you were already doing when you were dealing with coronavirus. But one final question, a lot of reports suggest that the existing vaccines could be effective against this novel strain. Anything that you have, read or picked up on this? So, should we perhaps be hopeful on that front?
So yeah, everyone should be reassured. So the vaccines target the entire spike protein, this little blue thing. The immune response targets the entire spike protein, whereas these mutations and deletions have resulted in small changes to the spike protein. So you should be reassured that our immune response targets the entire spike protein, not just a very small part of it. And a few mutations aren't going to mean that the vaccine doesn't work. It's possible there might be a slight decrease in efficacy. It's too early to say, but you can be reassured the vaccine should have some efficacy. That being said, remember the vaccines aren't here in India right now. What we have is what has already been available to us, which is masks, distancing when possible. Definitely avoid all kinds of crowds in terms of religious events, social events, birthdays, weddings, all of that, and pay attention to air quality and hand hygiene.
Right. On that note, Dr. Parikh, thank you very much for joining us on ET Now and laying out all those things that people must do. So if you're a viewer watching us right now, please pay attention to what Dr. Parikh said in terms of hand hygiene and social distancing, because we do not have a vaccine here yet.